Coming up this week, off screen.
John David Washington is the BlackKklansman.
Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon face the spy who dumped me.
We get musical one note at a time.
Take a ride with the king.
Follow the Ballymurphy Precedent.
And meet a Bad Samaritan.
All to come and more off screen.
This is Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Off Screen. I'm Van Connor.
And I am Case Allen.
So, Mr. Allen, we're back. We've had a week away. Well,
yeah, we have.
Lots of stuff in the film world's been going on. And by the way, did we finish just when they announced the new ridiculous Oscar? Is that what we ended there, didn't we? Before
we spoke about that. That was our last big piece of news, and people still don't like it.
People still don't like it. They've still not bothered giving us any guidelines. We don't know what outstanding achievement in popular film or popular cinema is.
Yeah, that's what it's still called. It should just be like outstanding running by a Tom Cruise in a Tom Cruise film.
I have just ordered, by the way, I think you'll approve of this, I've just ordered a t-shirt. It says, for your consideration, then it's got the logo for The Meg, and then it's for outstanding achievement in popular cinema.
Oh,
so
yes.
I thought you might appreciate it.
Yeah. And you're totally going to wear that in February.
Oh, I absolutely am. Yeah. I'm wearing that to every press show I go to forever now.
If you ever meet Stave.
Oh, God, if I ever meet the Stave, I'm wearing that, you best believe.
Yeah.
Well, you can have any film you want put in it, though. That's the part I love. In this
so you
t-shirt.
could have a bunch.
You can have a bunch of them. So if you want to have, because I looked at it initially for Geostorm, but that was last year, so it wasn't quite as funny. But
let's see what else Joe Butler's got in the pipe.
Hunter Killer.
Yeah,
Hunter Killer for outstanding achievement in
Den of Thieves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Den of Thieves could work.
Yeah.
But so you can have those shirts made. It's great.
I think we should have a category that is like best half an hour of a really, really good film in a really terrible film, and that could go to Den of Thieves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Totally, yeah. Oh, but a bit of housekeeping. We're going to cover this one because we are usually the on-screen radio show and podcast. We are now the Movie Marker radio show and podcast. On-screen and Movie Marker have merged, you see. So they're cool, though. They're cool. I've worked with them for a few years. They're all good guys. So it's just, they are the
Oh,
Apple.
look at that big sack of money.
Yeah, so they are the Apple that has swallowed our Shazam. You see, that's what it is. If we're going with this week's business news,
are we Shazam?
We'd be Shazam in that equation, I suppose. Yeah.
God, I use Shazam so much.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be part of Apple now, so get used to it.
Is it everything?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is when you use Shazam, it gives you the option to play it in Apple Music. So I kind of like,
I get little Spotify things saying, add to your Spotify tracks. So
fair. Okay. So podcast edition, we got to plug that. So if you want the extended edition of this show, which includes all the stuff after the end credits, and of course our moment of Cage, I've got a lovely one for you this week, Mr. Allen, because I recently rewatched National Treasure: Book of Secrets. So I've picked a few gems.
Where is my third film? Turtle
I have news on that. Let me just say, podcast edition on Acast, iTunes, Deezer, pick podcast platform of choice. It's all out there for you to find. Just download. This, by the way, Mr. Allen, is our 150th show together.
Is it really?
It really is.
Where is my cake?
Where's my cake? Technically speaking, I've done more of these than you. Yeah.
Yeah, but before this show was a thing.
But I mean, you've had weeks off.
I have had weeks off.
You've
been a constant.
I hold the fort. I am the Gillian Anderson of this series. That's what that is.
If I'm Duchovny, that's fine. If I have to get a really bitter divorce from Taylor Leone, so be it.
Are they divorced?
Yeah.
Oh man, I was explaining the history of David Duchovny the other day to someone. But that sounds so random. No, we were having a conversation about the career path of David Duchovny.
I forgot you were his biographer.
Do you know what? I own a David Duchovny biography, and I make no apologies. Okay, that is genuinely a thing.
Is that what it's called as well?
I make no apologies.
The David Duchovny story.
Well, that's actually what they should call, what Schwarzenegger should have called his biography.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Total Recall?
No, I should.
Right, Total Recall. The first half of Total Recall is an absolutely terrific read about, it's Schwarzenegger's story told by Schwarzenegger, presumably to a ghostwriter. And because I'm sorry, there is no way in hell Schwarzenegger is that good a writer. It tells his story really well, from the early days, and there's stuff in there like the Pumping Iron era where he's really blunt and really raw about it. Yeah. But then about just over halfway through the book is when in reality he got caught out with the maid and he had the secret kid and his marriage instantly dissolved. And it's very obvious that happened because all of a sudden the story and the tone of the book changes. And the last sort of third or half of Total Recall is a prolonged apology. It's really agonizing and awkward to sit through. But until then, though, amazing read.
Until then.
Until it gets to the point where he got caught out, by his missus in reality. Until then, it's a terrific read. Really good.
That's what you want from a book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Oh, no, it's not.
So read it, but stop halfway through. Anyway, it's no Duchovny biography, obviously, but
yeah, we should make a list of our favourite film biographies. Yeah. Film bioworks. Yeah.
Film bioworks.
Right, I have got an amazing book that's technically not a book and it's not a biography, but it is a John Travolta annual.
What?
From like the 70s, but I found in a closing down bookshop and I bought it for 10. I will go down and get it.
I think I've seen this. Is this not in the baby's room? I think I saw this in the
just outside. It's in like one of the bookcases.
I did see a John Travolta.
It's incredible. It's like 1978 John Travolta annual.
And see, I can't resist buying like really old, made for British audiences Marvel annuals. Because they're terrible.
They're great.
So, should we have our first review of the week? And it's a pretty decent one. It's a pretty decent film, I'm happy to say.
And what is it?
Okay, it is The Spy Who Dumped Me. You can't have missed this one on the advertising. It has actually been decently marketed, I think, this one, for a relatively low-budget, female-targeted comedy. They've actually bothered to put a decent amount of marketing into it. So this is from director and co-writer Susanna Fogel, who I'm actually not sure about her body of work prior to this. It stars Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon. They are a pair of best friends. Oh, by the way, they're meant to be 30. This comes up in the film, that Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon are meant to be 30 years old. Yeah, your furrowed brow says an awful lot, sir.
How old are they in real life?
Well, I know Mila Kunis was 16 or 17 when she started That 70s Show, and that was like 98. Yeah. So she's got a year or two on me. I'm 35, so yeah. But they just neither passes for 30 years old.
Okay,
but
let's just believe it. ...
movie. Anyway, so Kate McKinnon is the wacky best friend to Mila Kunis. The movie opens with Mila Kunis' birthday. She is sad. She is alone. She has been dumped by text by her boyfriend of a year.
I don't want to spoil it. I feel like he was the spy.
He, believe it or not, not just a clever title. So he is the spy who has dumped her. He, of course, is Justin Theroux. So, unfortunately, we are going to have to parlay some kind of sympathy for the man who wrote Iron Man 2.
Theroux?
I really don't care. He wrote Iron Man 2.
Forax?
Iron Man 2. Anyway, let's just never forget. Anyway, so he's a spy. He's got a secret government file that he puts into her possession. He is then promptly removed from the picture and is left to these two bickering BFFs to journey on a spy adventure around Europe, involving getting this file into safe hands away from the many, many terrorists and sinister CIA agents who are tracking them. We have a clip.
I don't trust anyone anymore.
You trust me, though, right?
Yes, of course I trust you. You don't count.
Okay, good, because this is not some fake spy friendship that the Russians put together.
Dude, shut up. I know. Okay, Drew said that if we don't deliver this package, a lot of people are gonna die. What if we don't do it and then there's like a terrorist attack or something?
Well, what did he say to do?
We have to get it to a cafe in Vienna.
Austria, Vienna?
Yes, that's what he said.
Okay, well, why don't we do that then?
Do what? Go to Europe when a bunch of people are trying to kill us?
Do you want to die having never been to Europe? Or do you want to go to Europe and die having been to Europe?
Why are those my only two options?
You get the tone that this is sort of going for. The closest thing I would put it with is Spy. And, I mean, Spy's a pretty damn funny film.
It is. Terrible title.
A terrible title. And wasn't it originally named for Melissa McCarthy's actual character, I think, at one point?
Yeah, which would have made more
like
sense.
Yeah, it would have, yeah. Anyway, Spy, very funny film. This is kind of pitching to the same, I think, demographic as Spy. It's not quite as all-in and not as entirely successful as Spy is, but as far as the mismatched buddies, racing across Europe in a spy adventure goes, I will say I do think this works more than The Hitman's Bodyguard. So, so better than Hitman's Bodyguard, not quite as good as Spy.
Well, I think we all found the production values of Hitman's Bodyguard to be a bit shoddy, really. I feel like that overshadowed their chemistry, which worked really well.
Cheap, yeah.
Yeah, it was really, yeah.
Well, we've got, the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard to come next, so...
Is that
the title is The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. It's Salma Hayek this time.
I'm in, because she was amazing.
She was, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Anyway, this has, surprisingly, some decent action chops. So when we were introduced to Justin Theroux, Iron Man 2 writer, he's got this...
Louis' cousin.
When we're introduced to Louis' cousin, we've got this action sequence in like a Marrakesh market or something, as these things always are. Full-on Jason Bourne riffing kind of thing. And it's really, really sort of slick and coherent and gripping, and you feel every punch. So it really goes for it in the violent R-rated stakes. So, of course, what it then has to do is be funny. And it is decently funny. To be fair, the banter between Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon is quite engaging. It's quite lively. It's one of those where, everyone has a friend like that kind of a thing. And if you don't, it's you. In my case, it's me. Anyway, I do think Mila Kunis gets the short end of the stick. She's stuck with this very sort of typecast
straight
Mila Kunis type. She's playing a Mila Kunis type. Kate McKinnon is this century's Catherine O'Hara. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Yeah. She is absolutely tremendous.
Do you know what? That makes sense, with the sketch
thing.
Yeah, all the improv background that Catherine O'Hara had.
Exactly what she's got here is that, because she brings a lot of energy to what is effectively a basically likeable character. And the result is an instant scene stealer. You've got the dude from Outlander, I think he's Sam Heughan in there.
Yeah, I really like him.
I wasn't aware of him.
He needs to be in more things. I think this is his first big film role. Really.
Well, this is the thing, because I have a mother and she has an Amazon Prime membership. So
she,
like all mothers,
she likes Outlander.
All mothers with Amazon Prime membership, she's obsessed with Outlander because sex and time travel. But and hunky dudes. So that's my mum's dream show. We've got all the mums with Amazon Prime accounts will love this movie. Ivana Sakno, you might remember from Pacific Rim Uprising.
Well, I didn't see it, so I do not.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Female Russian pilot in Pacific Rim Uprising. She plays a hilariously terrifying villain. And I've chosen those words specifically because she is terrifying, but she's meant to be hilariously so. And it is really, really well done how they have done this.
That has made me think of Crispin Glover in Charles Angels.
That kind of thing. That kind of thing. But like Russian Black Widow gymnast type.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can see the range of comedy you can get out of that. That's absolutely fine. Two cameos by comedic legacies in there that I have to point out as Kate McKinnon's parents, Paul Reiser and Jane Curtin.
Amazing.
Neither gets enough to do, neither does Hassan Minaj, but they're all just fun to see. It goes down the if looks could kill route of just being fine with learning to kill people. That's cool.
Let's move on.
Yeah, it absolutely earns its R rating. It's not as laugh a minute as Spy, but it's more consistently funny than Hitman's Bodyguard. There is a certain, I'm not going to give any details, but there is a certain real world celebrity cameo in this that of course can't really be real, so they've used a body double and they've just got the world's best body double for it. And I imagine he's someone who gets a lot of work. There's a pretty lumbering cliche that kind of threatens to sink it all towards the end, but I have fun with it. I laughed. It's not laugh a minute like Spy, it's laugh every 3 minutes. So
that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah.
If
Spy was
films what? 95, 100 minutes?
I think it's 157, if memory serves. So it's 157, I believe. So, in fact, I know for a fact it's 157 because I set my watch before the film started. So,
is it really that long?
It's really that long. And it works. It just about pulls it off. So, yeah.
That film is 2.5 hours long, pretty much.
What? 157 minutes is 1 hour 57. It's 1 hour 57. 157 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So it's 1 hour 57. It's not 2.5 hours, don't worry. That is insane.
That's what I headed down as.
Yeah. That is insane for anything that isn't a Gerard Butler tech versus crim thriller.
And we know that's coming.
Oh, well, that's happened. That was Den of Thieves was 2.5 hours.
We know we're going to get another Den of Thieves.
We're going to get another one,
What is he going to... It can't be Den. Fort of Thieves.
We're going to find out like next year, apparently.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, we've gone from a pretty decent film. We're going to have to go, I'm afraid, to a pretty ropey film now.
Do it. I want to talk about trash.
You want to talk about trash? Okay. I'm going to give you a film that is a certain known commodity producer's second directorial effort after a massive would-be blockbuster that went belly up in the last 2 years. Okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. They spent $90 million on reshooting that guy's first film. They then gave him a second film, in which he has reteamed with one of the cast of that first film, and David Tennant, to deliver this suburban thriller. You've just figured it out, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
So, this comes to us from director Dean Devlin. Former producer on Stargate, Independence Day, Universal Soldier, Godzilla, The Patriot, The Day After Tomorrow, 2012, 10,000 BC, and Stonewall.
His biggest achievement...
Geostorm. So
lest we forget.
Yeah,
Geostorm.
let's not forget Geostorm, which of course they spent like 90 million reshooting to get it into shape.
That's how you know it's a good film.
Yeah,
that's how you know it's a good film.
Yeah, because he used like a bunch of producers on there.
We've got a great film if we give it the same budget, do it again. It'll be an amazing film.
And
it's logic.
It starred Robert Sheehan, who also stars here, because, you know, he was so charismatic in Geostorm that Dean Devlin was instantly captivated by him, it would seem.
Yeah, I mean, I love how he charismatically flew out of a spaceship and died.
Yeah, there was that, wasn't there? Oh, look, he's the only suspect in this elaborate whodunit of one suspect. So, which happened not once but twice in that movie.
Whodunit? Him.
Literally was that. Right, so this is the story of a pair of they're low-level criminals. They pose as car valets, and what they do is that sort of shtick that exists in movies where you drop the car off at the restaurant, you give it the key to the valet then uses your sat-nav to find out where you live, goes and robs your house while you're at dinner, and then returns the car. You're none the wiser, but you've been burgled. And on one particular night, Robert Sheehan's character, who basically, we're told at one point wants to be a photographer. This bears next to no relevance to the rest of the film, as does many of the things that we get told about every character in this. He robs the house belonging to a very nasty American accented David Tennant, only to discover that David Tennant owns a state-of-the-art smart house and has a young woman chained up in his basement. Our central character then flees once he realises, his Tennant's about to leave the restaurant, and gets the car back and sets out to free this girl. Only for Tennant to discover who he is and decide he's going to play his own game with him. Here is a clip that will nicely set the tone of producer Dean Devlin's second directorial effort.
Welcome to Nino's, sir. What is a perfect score?
The perfect score?
One so big you never have to pull another one.
Yeah.
Help me, please.
I'm gonna help you, I promise. He's got a girl chained up. He's crazy. I have to save her life.
You know why you're not in jail right now?
Because you're in mine.
Well, I mean, there's a point in the second act of this movie in which Tennant has become the urban stalker. And you just sat there thinking, you remember when they did exactly this as a remake of Fright Night, but David Tennant didn't suck?
He got to swear.
He got to swear. He was quite fun in that movie, wasn't he? He's no fun in this. His American accent, he's hilarious. And that's the weird part. I've heard him do an American accent, so I know he can. I don't know why he's doing it. It's almost as if he knows this is a NAF film.
Yeah.
Although I have discovered that he's done a lot of engaging with the fans on YouTube for this film, and he seems quite enthusiastic about it, which would seem to suggest that he doesn't know that this is just determinable dross. It's one of those films in which they've written a sort of weird backstory for Robert Sheehan, in that his mother is Irish and she married an American, and then they emigrated to America, and that's why he lives there, specifically in this one specific city in the centre of the... And you start thinking, you've put that in purely to justify casting Robert Sheehan, which means you have thought about it, In which case, why have you done it? Why have you done something this slapdash and lazy with it? It's like that moment in the Fantastic Four in which they wrote that a bit about Kate Mara being adopted purely to justify having already cast. You're like, it's so weird that you feel the need to do that, because that just suggests to me that you stepped outside of your already arranged lines. Okay, fair enough.
We know the audience is going to have a problem with this, so let's backtrack.
Yeah, it's so weird. Why do it? Anyway, so it can't muster much more suspense than the average Criminal Minds episode. And that's being very generous, to be fair. Robert Sheehan, in keeping with his wealth of film roles to date, maintains about the level of charisma of the average runny nose. The writer of this, a man named Brandon Boyce, who is more of a...
Brandon Boyce.
Brandon Boyce.
Not Brandon Boyd, lead singer of Incubus.
No, and thank you. I have a younger sister. I was aware of that.
I'm seeing Incubus in a couple of weeks.
Are you?
Just dropping out.
Who aren't you seeing in the next few weeks? You got Justin Timberlake.
We have, yeah.
Incubus. I get Michael Bolton.
I'm seeing all my favourite hunky men.
Michael Bolton. So
yeah. all the man crushes.
How can we be lovers if we can't be friends, Case? Anyway.
How am I supposed to live without you, man?
I was almost going to follow that up with "Can I touch you" there, but I thought that was a bit too on the nose. Enough, Michael Bolton.
But when a van loves a woman.
Oh, okay, you
That's
win.
when we move on.
That's it. So once you're past the don't breathe like setup for this, it then just goes to the extreme of pushing its own plausibility as far as it humanly can, and it takes it way, way too far. It is a very rote thriller. It is a very unengaging thriller. It's about as bad as that Pierce Brosnan thriller IT, if you remember that from a couple of years ago.
Oh, the It House.
Yeah, the It House. Yeah. Also a smart house movie a smart home movie written by someone who has no idea how smart homes work. I'm just going to put this out there for the benefit of Hollywood writers, in the world. You can go to Best Buy and spend $10 on a Wemo smart plug and learn everything you need to know about smart homes. For the love of God, please go and do that. Just once, because there's 2 movies this week that don't understand how technology works. The other one certainly was Spy Who Dumped Me, which doesn't know how phone biometric fingerprint scanners work. Anyway.
Neither do I. Then again, I'm not a film.
Okay, well, put it this way. If there's something that's deemed silly in a joke in a 1993 Sylvester Stallone movie, you probably shouldn't be using it as a plot point in 2018.
Right.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, this is to say really ropey. There's this hilariously patronising attempt at sort of involving social networks and revenge porn. And it's like, oh, we're cutting edge. We're doing what the kids do now. Like, okay. I mean, it's one of those films in which the revenge porn element, for instance, is done by email. And you start thinking, what 20-year-old kid sends his friends emails? Case, we're friends. I've never sent you an email.
Well, you have, but the
screening links.
Screening links.
They work
screen a
things.
ticket. Yeah.
I'm not going to send you my revenge porn snaps.
But not and you have so many. That's what
I mean, I'd WhatsApp it, or I'd probably more likely Snapchat it.
Yeah.
Because you destroy the evidence. But you know what? That's something I've just pulled off the top of my head. I'm not a Hollywood screenwriter.
I still don't really know what a Snapchat is.
Oh, it's like a this message will self-destruct in 10 seconds platform.
We all get to pretend we're Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, basically, yes.
I like that idea.
It's like Ethan Hunt, but with the genital photos.
Exclusively for...
You get to be Ethan Hunt, but it's for
pictures.
Photos of genitals. Exactly that, yeah. There's a nightmare sequence in here that's just absolutely weak CG source. Towards the beginning of the third act, it jumps the shark entirely. You ride along with it, for, another sort of half hour at that point. It is lumbering. It is clearly made on the cheap. This has obviously been filmed in some Vancouver suburb. TV caliber filmmaking all round, and you come away from it thinking, for the love of God, Dean, just go back to Roland, apologise for whatever you did, and just go and make some sequels to your earlier films. Just make good ones, please. This is unbearably bad. So, Mr. Allen, over to you. Have you got some news for me? Have you got anything you could be reporting?
Well, Danny Boyle's not directing Bond anymore.
Oh, I hadn't heard about this.
I'm sure you've been on multiple radio shows.
No, I missed it, actually. I missed the window because it happened.
Really?
It happened late at night, so I knew I'd be getting certain phone calls to do this, that, and the other. Stayed up for it for 2 hours, and I was up to 2 a.m. and then thought, I'll just sleep now. No one's calling, and then I woke up 5 minutes after Talk Radio called.
It always seemed a bit of a weird fit. It was like wearing a slipper on your hand.
Well, yeah. I mean,
like, sure, it'll feel comfortable for a bit, but then you'll be like, why am I walking on my hands? What's going on?
So, who are they going to get then?
I only really made that analogy because I'm currently wearing slippers.
Well, that's a good one. But yeah, I have heard slipper on your hand before, though.
So have you? Is that a thing?
I have actually heard that before. So,
yeah. I thought I was being really smart.
You don't wear a shoe on your head, would you? Think about it. Silly.
Not twice.
That's a Snowpiercer reference, by the way, for the billions of people in the world who still haven't seen Snowpiercer.
On a big screen.
On a big screen, yes, exactly.
Theatrical release. I don't know if we're going to get... so before the whole Danny Boyle thing, it was basically a three-way race between David Mackenzie, who did Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water
and I think...
Yeah, Stardust, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's got this Outlaw King.
Yeah, the Chris Pine thing.
Yeah. I've not seen the trailer yet, but pictures look very interesting.
Cool.
He was like the front runner, I believe. Jan Demange, whose name I love. He did 71. I feel like he's worked with Daniel Craig before. Maybe I'm getting that confused, but he's really good. And then Denis.
Denis. Yeah. Oh, I've got a crush on him.
I've got a crush on him as well. So does everyone in Hollywood, but he's making Dune.
Yeah, he's busy with his Duning twice.
Chalamet.
Twice.
Yeah.
2 Dune movies.
2 Dunes.
But all I'm going to say on this, even though they're clearly just going to hire Martin Campbell at the 11th hour, because that's what you do.
Maybe he'll explain to us what a quantum is.
Oh, maybe, or why there's a lonely one. Anyway,
I think probably Dave Mackenzie, which would be ace. The Danny Boyle thing. They as soon as he was interested, everyone else was just like, get out of the way. He made trance. Let's get Danny Boyle.
True. My takeaway from this, though, is, I mean, it would just be so convenient if there was just a freely, an available director at this moment in time, like maybe one who had action chops, could do big budget action sequences, maybe one who's used to working within the rules of, say, a franchise, maybe one who could bring the long forgotten younger audience, the family audience, back into Bond. I mean, wouldn't it be great if there was a filmmaker who just happened to be available like at this minute in time who met all of those requirements?
But Van, how are we going to get Uwe Boll's numbers at short notice?
Hashtag rehire James Gunn, ladies and gentlemen. So
hashtag I would never fight Uwe Boll.
God, no, I wouldn't. No. Should we do our box office top 5 for the week?
We should. Just on that point about James Gunn, I would not be surprised.
Oh no, me neither.
Number 5.
Festivus. No, Festival.
I didn't get to see the festival. It wasn't press shown. And
yeah, he's got a crazy cast list, and I've heard actually pretty decent things about it. So I might see it.
I've heard good things from critic friends because they had I wasn't at screenings that day, and there was like the screenings finished in the afternoon. Apparently, the View in Leicester Square, they had a screening of the festival because it was open to the public that day. It was an early week release, and apparently the doors just opened from the perspective of this teenage audience. The doors just opened, and a flood of middle-aged men suddenly entered the screen to watch the festival because all the film critics decided they just have their own screening, and I missed it.
Yeah.
So, no, but never mind. I hear good things. I hear it is in-betweeners, like first in-betweeners movie rather than second, which I can live with.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it on that recommendation. Has anybody tweeted about it?
At Popcorn Donuts. So, hashtag the festival tonight, and oh my god, one word. That was bloody hilarious. Laughed from start to finish. Highly recommend it.
Number 4.
The Sequelizer.
The Sequelizer.
I'm surprised this is so low down.
Yeah, you would think it'd be number 1, wouldn't you? But
especially like with how it did in America.
I know. The thing is, I don't think The Equalizer is as known a commodity in the UK as it was in the US, but I would argue that being a film, a film, you would think it would counteract that.
And also, it's a Fuqua flick.
It's a Fuqua flick. Yeah, we love a Fuqua flick.
Yeah,
so I don't think this is as good as the first one. I don't think the Sequelizer is anywhere near as good as the Equalizer. I don't think we'll get a Threequalizer, that's for sure.
Oh, I've been talking about Threequalizers all week.
I don't think we'll get a Threequalizer because I don't think this has got
this is a Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher. Oh no, hang on! I've got it so far. It's the Equalizer, the Sequelizer, the Threequalizer, the Quadrilizer, and the Equifiver.
Equifiver.
That's my franchise map in my head. Yeah. This has a lot of the stuff that you liked about the first movie, but it just feels a little bit more watered down. They've tried to dig it more into the backstory of Denzel's character, and frankly, it's not quite as engaging as it should be. It feels a lot more hackneyed, a bit more... I mean, in that way that the first movie kind of got overshadowed a lot by John Wick coming out around the same kind of time and stealing all the action thunder. This kind of comes out and feels a bit the same, to be honest. It feels like it comes out in a post-John Wick world, and you're just thinking, I really would rather, we did something a bit more original with someone as good as Denzel. I mean, it's a fine movie. It's a fine actioner, but it's just not a great one. Yeah. It does rely a lot on the sort of let's repeat certain tropes from the first movie, and I found that quite disappointing for a movie that starred Denzel and was directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah.
But has anyone tweeted us? Just people either love it or hate it, I'm guessing.
At Denzel Washington says, King Kong ain't got shush on me.
He absolutely would as well.
Yeah. At Roberts0502, The Equalizer is a pretty good movie. Hashtag Equalizer 2 is not. This guy's cutting. He's blunt. The simple and predictable plot takes forever to get going. There's too much filler, and the action is poorly choreographed. And one person has commented on it. I don't know what the comment is, and one person has liked it. So he's got one fan.
It's Megalodon.
Number 3.
Shut up, Meg.
Bigger jaws.
It's Megalodon. You know what the Meg doesn't have that Deep Blue Sea and Snakes on a Plane had?
What's that?
A kick-ass
Theme song, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to Deepest Bluest on the way over this morning.
I love that song.
Me and my crew strike like some underwater locusts. But does LL Cool J think he is the shark in that movie? Like, do you think...
Cool James.
Do you think Ladies Love Cool James got sent the script for that movie, thought he was playing the shark, recorded the song, and then starred in the movie? Because that's the only explanation I can find.
Before he goes into recording movies, like, I am a shark.
Yeah.
Become a shark. I'm one with a shark.
He's just spent a week in a studio singing My Head is Like a Shark's Fin over and over again.
Do you think he recorded it in a shark tank? Just like a soundproofed, wired for sound shark tank.
You ever seen the actual music video for that?
Yeah, of course.
It's a classic.
It's incredible.
But I expect nothing less from the man who once rhymed Chappaquiddick. So,
like when we get the sequel to the Meg, I wouldn't be surprised if we tried to get Cool James.
Oh,
tie it together.
Absolutely. Get Richard Dreyfuss in there for a cameo as well while you're at it.
Well, he was in Piranha, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. And apparently as Hooper as well. Like, character actually is meant to be Hooper. Yeah, apparently is meant to be Hooper. So, make of that what you will. Anyway, so what were we talking about? Oh, the Meg. Yeah, it's really good, really fun. Jason Statham fights a shark. If you need more than that to go and see the Meg, then this is not the film for you. So, has anyone tweeted it, and did they like Jason Statham fighting a giant shark?
At HRH Blake Knight says, yo guys, eat some edibles and go see the Meg this weekend. Because it's insane and stupid, and even the size of the shark is inconsistent throughout. It is, it changes.
It is, it really is.
But at least the theatre is cold and has candy. Hashtag the Meg.
Do you know what? That man
Blake
has
Knight
priorities.
is my favourite.
I respect where he's coming from, absolutely.
Number 2.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist you?
Mamatua.
Just sounds like a volcano name, doesn't it?
Mamatua, yeah, it is.
I liked it more than the first one. I don't think it's quite as polished and precise as the first one is, though.
Godfather 2'd it.
Yeah, they Godfather 2'd it. And I'm going to stick with the idea that if you have to cast, the world's most perfect woman, which is what Meryl Streep's character was meant to be, then Lily James is a great place to start. I don't quite think Lily James is going to have the status of Meryl in 30 years' time, though, somehow.
She might.
She might.
She's Cinderella.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
She's Baby Driver's baby.
Yeah, but I mean, like Cinderella, once she hooked up with that prince dude, what did she ever turn out afterwards? Nothing. No sequel. Lazy. Anyway.
Get it together, Cinders.
Yeah, come on, Cinders. You're letting the sisterhood down. So, who's tweeted us on this matter?
Stepsisterhood.
Stepsisterhood, exactly.
At a hopeful sprout.
Oh, nice.
Says, I want to see hashtag Mamma Mia 2 again. The movie is called Here We Go Again, not Here We Go Once and Cry Over soundtrack at home because you're dying to repeatedly watch it, and then, one of those emojis where it's a woman being like, meh, and then a cry face, and then a blue heart.
Is everything alright at home?
I think she needs professional help, and, we aren't those people.
Number 1.
Christopher Robin.
Which is basically Hook meets Paddington.
Hook and Paddington, yeah.
Hook and Paddington. It's Hooker Paddington. That's really what it is. It's basically taking the Robin
What kind of
Williams-
horrific childhood fun fairs did you go to as a kid?
The kind where we skewered Paddington through the face. But I turned out fine. You just don't knock over my knife, would you? Anyway, I'm kidding. So that's what it is. You take the dad from Hook, you take the Robin Williams character from Hook, and then just apply him to basically the plot of Paddington. That's kind of what you get here. And it's fine, it's fun, it's moving, it's charming, it's exactly as likeable as you would hope it would be. Yeah. It's got Hayley Atwell in it, and that's always a wonderful thing.
Same, yeah.
I had a good time with it. What did you see it?
No, I've not seen it yet. I will see that, and I will see the Sequelizer this weekend between gigs, because I'm gigging like a mother. Yeah, I am. I'm going to say, is David Thewlis in this?
No, I don't think so.
No, Mark Gatiss.
Oh, Mark Gatiss. Yes, Mark Gatiss is in it. He is the boss. He's Ewan McGregor's hard ass boss.
It feels like that could have been David Thewlis. I've got nothing against Gatiss, but it's a David Thewlis type.
When they're in those roles, they are kind of interchangeable, aren't they?
Kind of. Like Mark Gatiss could have been that professor in Theory of Everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they really can just trade places. They have exactly the same sort of presence.
Never seen them in the same room at the same time.
No, you do not. That is worth noting. But then again, you don't see Jewel and Ricky Martin in the same place at the same time. So
what? Ricky Martin's gay. At Origons 97. I didn't see the first 96 Origons. Hashtag Christopher Robin is one of the most beautiful movies I've seen in years. This person has not seen Geostorm.
No, Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. And everyone should go see it. Even if you think you don't have time to watch it, remember to take a break. BC, I'm guessing that stands for because doing nothing leads to the very best of something. Is that a quote from the film?
It is, yes.
Wow.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, we've got a couple of reviews we need to get through real quick then. So
it's almost like we're a show built for reviewing films.
I know. Imagine that. God, that'd be a hard life, wouldn't it? So let's talk about the documentary, The Ballymurphy Precedent. This is basically a documentarian's chronicle of the Ballymurphy massacre of sorts. This is when the British Army actually executed a number of, and this has somehow gone relatively under the radar. It is hilarious that this story is not known. You watch this documentary, which chronicles events of the time, the massacre of, I believe it's 11 people, at the hands of the British Army in Ireland in the late 60s, early 70s, and this is basically pushing for justice for the victims. We have a quick clip.
The army rolled into all the Catholic areas.
600 paratroopers come in, and they just saturated the whole area.
The people who were to protect us were in fact taking sides against us.
So this comes to us from director Callum McRae. It is getting a theatrical release on Thursday the 30th of this month. But there's going to be a shortened version broadcast on Channel 4 on September the 9th. So that it's not about 90 minutes long, but they are going to trim it down for Channel 4. The film makes comparisons between the Troubles, the situation in Ireland, and the American Civil Rights Movement. And basically sort of it basically points out that the sort of inspiration that was taken from the US Civil Rights Movement, specifically the events in Selma, are actually referenced in here. And it's a really harrowing story, how we get from A to B to, C being the present day, where this has somehow gone unaccounted for. Like, this is something that clearly needs to be addressed. They're pushing for a sort of a Hillsborough-level inquiry into this. And the film, noticeably it goes a bit Channel 4 dispatches around that point. It's very engaging, but I think the final sort of 10 minutes goes a bit Channel 4 dispatches as it descends into more and more televisual, preachingly documentarian sort of terrain. Other than that, before that, there's a quite nice juxtaposition between the interviews, archival footage, and some really lavishly put together reenactments. Like, there's reenactments of, truly violent incidents in Ireland that are framed to look as if they're scenes from Sin City. It is really striking to look at. And for a harrowing story already, that does give it some real gravitas. But it's that ending does leave a sour taste, even though obviously it is an important film and obviously it's a very important story. It's a story that we all should know and that should be a bigger deal. But I think I did feel at the end of it like I had sat through a Channel 4 Dispatches thing, which is weird because on September 9th, you apparently can. Yeah, you apparently can
as well.
So I think as a documentary on Channel 4, though, pretty mind-blowing. As a
theatrical release.
As a theatrical release, less so. But I think definitely catch it in cinemas when you can. Okay. Shall I just move straight on to The King?
Yeah. So King of what? King of who?
King of rock and roll, baby. We're talking Presley, man.
Of course it is. Forgot this was a thing.
This is a thing. Yeah. So get this, right? This entire movie is framed around Elvis's Rolls Royce. Okay, which drives...
This is the Alec Baldwin thing, isn't it?
This is the Alec Baldwin thing.
I forgot this was happening.
This is happening. So, sir, please. Not just Sir Alec Baldwin. Not just Sir Alec of the Baldwins. No. James Carville, Ashton Kutcher, Chuck D, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke, Chuck of the D.
Everyone is in this.
Alec King of the Baldwins.
Everyone's in. Apparently, Marina Del Rey is in this, or Lana Del Rey. I don't know who these people are. Lana Del Rey. I'm not down with you.
Is that like the knockoff version you see like down Blackpool?
Yeah, that totally is. Is. But yeah, loads of stars. The idea is that they've put each one of them in this Rolls Royce one at a time and just given them a tour around like important locations from Elvis's life.
Yeah,
they chat about the culture of the Elvis, brought about that he came from. We've got a quick clip.
The king sat in this car.
I feel like Elvis Presley left the spirit that inspires me.
Yeah, this is amazing.
You have no idea how hard he hit American culture.
I wonder if you could help me. I was trying to find the house that Elvis Presley lived in.
Ain't had no house over here. You remember the great Chuck D line?
Elvis was a hero the most, but he never meant to me. Straight up racist, that sucker was simple and plain. Mother him and John Wayne.
It really does sound like Hooper X from Chasing Amy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
So this delves quite into the world and the actual culture then that helped shape Elvis, and it does depict Elvis himself as the greatest example of the American dream. It is the American dream writ large. It is, this young boy who came from poverty, and he came from this very specific neighborhood where he was a minority, it was a largely black area, and how he used that was the fuel that made him into the world's greatest megastar. I learned stuff from this, like genuinely stuff that I didn't know. I'd honestly never considered that Elvis basically set the trend for celebrity endorsements, and we're shown this in like a comparative, like modern day context of like George Clooney with his Omega and like that whole idea. And it's really kind of fascinating seeing these stars react one at a time to like Elvis's Rolls Royce is kind of charming, and it's a very likable, very sweet documentary. It's faintly overlong. It's 100 minutes. It's faintly overlong. I think its concept is basically like an hour-long special. I don't think this should be theatrical length.
It's like an hour-long PBS.
Yeah, like a PBS special. There's a really great moment in which James Carville, the Raging Cajun, Mr. James Carville, describes how America, and this is the quote, never tasted the same after Elvis. And he talks about, you need to understand that Elvis came into this world and it was an instant thing. One day there was no Elvis, and the next day there was an Elvis, and we lived in a different world. And you think, okay, I never really thought about that, but yeah, it makes complete sense. The world, America just never felt the same when Elvis Presley left us. It's kind of weird. You look at the culture of the time. Yes, I can kind of understand that.
I can see that. Like, it would be the thing that when there's no more Beatles. Really,
exactly, we'll live in a world that doesn't have any Beatles.
Especially in this country.
Especially in this one. Yeah. It's on the whole, it's pretty fascinating stuff. I kind of like that it looked at what Elvis was and what made him rather than who he was, which I think is a documentary we don't need anymore. I think that there's a billion of those. I think you can very easily find the documentary of what Elvis was like as a dude. I think I'd rather know what made him that dude. And for me, I thought this was a really solid time. So we're going to keep with the music theme then, and last review for this block is called One Note at a Time, and this comes out this coming Friday as well. This is from director Renee Edwards, and this is a documentary all about New Orleans music culture in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. Specifically, how that culture has to be rebuilt after Hurricane Katrina. We have a quick clip.
When Katrina came, I was playing outside there with a 4-piece orchestra, and the man come out, he switched off the fan. And I said, don't switch your fan off. What the hell's the matter with you? It's hot as Hades. It was a day like this. And he said, ain't you heard? The hurricane's changed course. They're coming right up the river. So I said, well, be damned. Go out, fellas, pack away them instruments. Get the hell on the way from here. So there was 3 men in that band beside me, and it took me almost a year. It took me 11 months and a week to find all of those 3 were still alive.
So get used to stories like that if you're going to watch this one, because there's a lot of them. And everyone obviously has been touched in some way by the events of Katrina. So everyone in this story has interacted in some way. A lot of them have lost, all their possessions. There are people who are suffering health problems because of it. It's a really harrowing sort of anthology story. I mean, there's there's an intriguing selection of subjects. That each one has their own narrative. Each one's given the time to shine through. It's got this energy running through it underneath it all. It has got that New Orleans jazz atmosphere to it. The sort of the hardwood floor bar with the jazz quartet in the corner. Yeah. It has that feel going through it, and it's a very infectious feeling. Some of the stories I found incredibly moving. There was once, because we never really get told about this stuff. When it comes to Katrina, it does become about homes and lives and families. And obviously, yes, that's where the priority should be. But I didn't know, for instance, that there are humanitarian efforts purely to replace musicians' destroyed or damaged instruments, one instrument at a time.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I didn't know that. That is amazing. A brilliant story. There's a trombone player who lost his trombone, who gets, a recycled trombone as part of this. And I think that is a really great story. I mean, and you meet guys through this documentary. There's one musician, for instance, who I think is a film musician, who says at one point, I was fighting against the water just to open a door to get out of my house. And I'm doing this knowing full well that I should be going in and saving the terabyte hard drive that's got everything I've ever worked on stored on it. Yeah. He says, and once that realization hits you, you've lost your life's work. And you think, wow. I mean, admittedly, advertisement for Dropbox, but it's a very, tragic story. I mean, we've all lost files. But that one, I thought, was absolutely harrowing. Imagine everything you've ever worked on. Yeah. That is horrible, especially in that sense of a creative industry. I tell you, I liked that it was focused on musicians and artists. I thought that's an untouched subject for documentary. I was intrigued by it. It kept me hooked to the very end. There's people in this that I actually did wind up Googling afterwards to try to find out what had become of them after the events of the documentary. And the stories actually do get more moving, actually, it would seem, if you go into reality about them. But really great story. I thought it was really nice to see this side of New Orleans and see what had become of it.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen. The on-screen radio show.
And we're back for one last ride, Mr. Allen. And we always save the biggie for last. I know you've been dying for this.
I cannot wait for this film.
I've been
waiting for months and months.
It has been. It's been
like a year, really, when I first heard about it.
It has been pretty much, because didn't they announce this not long after Get Out? Because it's got Jordan Peele on
Jordan Peele's
producer on this, isn't he? Yeah. There's not actually, funnily enough, I didn't feel Jordan Peele's presence on the film. You know where you feel Spike Lee.
Yeah.
And obviously if you watch Get Out, you feel Jordan Peele's sort of presence in that film. And you don't feel Jordan Peele on this, but I suppose that's the producery kind of thing.
Yeah, well, he came to Spike Lee with the story.
Did he?
Yeah, it was like, have you ever heard of this,
Ron Stallworth?
Ron Stallworth.
Oh, which
great name.
Let's talk about the story, incidentally. Yeah. Oh, that name that gets played for fun, actually, in the film. Yeah. So this is the story of, imaginatively enough, Ron Stallworth, who is a young black officer who joins the Colorado Springs Police Department because he is a young black officer, and this, of course, is the late 60s, early 70s. There is a certain, let's just say, racial tension in the air about his hiring. He is dumped. Yes, he is dumped into the records room where he is treated like crap by all of the white officers. And he decides one day he's had enough. So he just goes and pitches himself as an undercover officer, gets turned down for it, and then decides on a whim one day, what the hell, I'm going to phone the KKK and ask to join them, because if it's over the phone, they won't know I'm black. Turns out, really good idea. And he then decides to infiltrate the KKK using his white fellow officer, who's played by Adam Driver.
And his name is...
Oh, sorry?
What's his character
Flip.
name? Flip, yeah.
Flip. Sorry, I meant to say...
Flip Zimmerman, is it?
Flip Zimmerman. Ron Stallworth, by the way, is played by John David Washington, son of Denzel, as you know. And so the white officer steps in for the in-person meetings, and the actual black real person does all the stuff over the phone. There's a lot of gags about having to impersonate each other's voice. Adam Driver having to adopt a black voice, for instance, is kind of amusing, for literally the sake of his life. And it's hilarious. Adam Driver, by the way, is amazing in this. Go figure.
Yeah.
So this all, of course, all builds to the involvement of David Duke, Grand Wizard of the KKK, who's played here by Topher Grace. David Duke, obviously, has done some things in the news in the last couple years, we'll just say.
In the last 6 months, really.
In the last 6 months,
yeah,
including endorsing a certain president. Anyway, so...
a sitting president.
A sitting president, yeah. Anyway, so David Duke and Ron Stallworth build a relationship over the phone that then gets parlayed into something in reality, and the heat is on to see if they can actually make a dent in the KKK before the KKK actually discovers they are the law. Here's a clip.
Well, I'm not risking my life to prevent some rednecks from lighting a couple sticks on fire.
This is the job. What's your problem?
That's my problem. For you, it's a crusade. For me, it's a job. It's not personal, nor should it be.
Why haven't you bought into this?
Why should I?
Because you're Jewish, brother. The so-called chosen people. You've been passing for a WASP. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, cherry pie hot dog white boy. That's what some light-skinned black folks do. They pass for white. Doesn't that hatred you've been hearing the Klan say, doesn't that piss you off?
Of course it does.
Then why are you acting like you ain't got skin in the game, brother?
Rookie, that's my business.
It's our business.
So there are two absolutely belter performances from Adam Driver and John David Washington. I also want to single out Laura Harrier. She is outstanding in this.
Who does she play?
And she plays the love interest / black politically charged activist. She's the president of the local black student union. Local black activism, the Black Students League at the Colorado University. Genuinely, she is amazing in this. I was like staring at her, jaw ajar, thinking, wow, the love interest from Spider-Man Homecoming is an actress this good? What? Because, she was perfectly likable and everything in Spider-Man, but you never looked at her in that film and thought, you're a seriously great actress. And she is a seriously great actress.
And like in Homecoming, she is the focus, but she's not Mary Jane, and we all know that Mary Jane is going to be the focus.
Disposability to her, isn't there? But also, she is kind of manic pixie high school dream girl, in that movie. I will say, I just thought it's absolutely tremendous in this. She's got something of a Tessa Thompson-like charm, actually. There's a brazenness, a ballsiness to her performance that does make you think of, specifically, Tessa Thompson in Dear White People a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah, and she's amazing in it.
She's amazing. I wasn't a fan of the film, but I thought she was amazing in it. And if they ever make a movie that stars Tessa Thompson, Janelle Monáe, and Laura Harrier, I think the internet might implode.
Yeah.
Just FYI. Also, that's the Charlie's Angels reboot I'd like to see. Just FYI. Topher Grace, way more fun than he has any right being as David Duke. It is the only way to play David Duke on film, admittedly. I love the intensity that Washington brings. It's sort of like that intensity that he has in Ballers, but there's a bit more of his dad in this.
He sounded just like him.
He does, doesn't he?
It's like a young version of him.
Don't you love the way he pronounces white?
Yeah.
Yes. White. He's got this brilliant swagger that's sort of very befitting of the period, of the age he's meant to be in the film, because he's meant to be quite a young dude as well. He's meant to be in his mid-20s tops. I literally love that the film begins with a caption. I can't read out the caption because it contains language, but Disjoint is based on some for real. I'm just going to say shiz.
Shiz, yeah.
Yeah, some for real shiz. And it keeps going back to the idea that you have to draw parallels with what is happening in America today as regards race, as regards the KKK, as regards the alt-right, neo-Nazis, certain people in political office and their involvement and support of them. Yeah, things like that. The only problem is
Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When it gets,
I turned to BBC.
Yeah, well, when it gets to those moments, it is when it feels the most Spike Lee. I mean, the rest of the time, this feels like a particularly dark Coen Brothers comedy. It's quite aggressive at times, but it's charming enough and sort of light-hearted enough to sort of win past that. The Spike Lee moments are moments in which, for instance, halfway through this movie, in which we have a moment in which they may as well turn to camera as they say the words, "Don't worry, no one like that will ever be elected president."
Wink.
Yeah, and you're sort of thinking, really, Basil? Really? I suggest you don't worry about it either.
Yeah.
I mean, the end of the film, the final literally the final minutes of this film, just take the place of a sort of contemporary set news archival vignette containing far more footage of a recent American set tragedy than ever needs to be seen. And that is, the film, I mean, literally closes on the American flag. They're not really making any bones about what this film is meant to be saying, what its contemporary relevance is. The problem is sometimes it leans on that a little too hard and becomes a really, really Spike Lee film. But the problem is you kind of enjoy it.
He's Spike Lee, though.
So, well, do you ever want Spike Lee to softball?
Exactly.
I mean, it's the best film Spike Lee's made since Inside Man, and even I think Inside Man is a very workmanlike film for Spike Lee. It's a bit of a conventional...
it never really feels...
Does it?
Yeah.
No. It's very... it's an F. Gary Gray movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's what it is.
Definitely.
Spike Lee made an F. Gary Gray movie.
I like Chirac.
Hang on a bit. Didn't F. Gary Gray literally make The Negotiator?
Do you know, I think he did, yeah.
He did. So, F. Gary Gray made that F. Gary Gray movie before Spike Lee made that F. Gary Gray
Negotiator
movie.
starring Samuel Jackson and
Christopher Plummer.
Expletive Deletive.
Yeah, of course it, yes. But, you are going to love BlackKklansman. Absolutely believe the hype on it. It is such a great movie. I was a little bit jarred by the contemporary set nods and winks. But, that's why this film exists. That's why we get this film. And, do you know what? I'll take any reason to get this film. It's a great movie. This is something that if this does not come about in Oscar conversations, I'm going to be annoyed. It has to.
No, we're saying it feels like screenplay kind of, but because it's not based on a book.
Yeah.
There wasn't a book based on a true story, was there?
No, there is. Ron Stallworth wrote the book that this film is based on.
So this film would be adapted then?
Yeah, best adapted screenplay.
But it's
Spike Lee is co-written. There's actually quite a few writers on it. There's Spike Lee and 3 others.
Yes.
On the screenplay. So he's only a co-writer. So that might be why it has those moments where it goes really Spike Lee.
Yeah, he's like, this is my stuff. This is what I'm going to put in.
I've got a quarter of this screenplay, so I'm going to make it all me.
Every fourth line.
Every fourth line. There is, by the way, can I just give you a great line in this movie? I actually literally put this up in here. The film, by the way, does have this thing where the characters keep building walls around themselves because of the undercover element, things like that. The characters build emotional walls around themselves. The film does the same thing with the vantage point it wants to afford you, and it's really cleverly done. Actually, it does keep you at a distance when the characters want you at a distance and draw you in accordingly. The film itself is geared around where the characters are emotionally at any point, as in the actual physical structure of the film obeys the emotional beats of the characters. I thought that was really quite cleverly done, and I think that's something it reminded me of Chirac, of that way in which the psychological actually is manifested in Chirac. By the way, how underrated is Chirac?
Very much. I feel like people have forgotten about it.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I mean, even John Cusack's good in that movie. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time we could say that?
Hot Tub Time Machine? No, I'm not even going to try that one. So, great line from this movie that I took away, and I do think standout line of the movie, with the right white man, we can do anything.
Yeah, that's been in a lot of the trailers.
Yeah, I love that. I say, in the trailers, and you do watch this film and just think, That really does feel like a statement on modern America. It's a terrific movie. I just had the best time with it. Film of the week for me.
Shocker.
Shocker, I know. Have we got a list of what's coming out next week? I think we do. Oh, we're off next week.
Really?
Yeah. One more week off, and then that's our summer holidays done.
Get in. I'm going back to work soon. That's upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've only got like another month of this, and then you're on paternity leave. Anyway.
That's a good point, yeah.
Film critic paternity leave. So yeah, I mean, the week after that, when we come back, though, a couple of interesting releases. We've got American Animals finally, which is that's got some buzz, hasn't it?
I am excited about that. Real good cast.
The Seagull. I'm not sure what that one is actually. The Seagull. Yeah.
Is it not the Seagull? And it's just
not the Seagull. It's not about his journey to make amends between Russia and America, which, by the way, is a movie I really want to see, starring Will Arnett with a ponytail. I mean.
Yeah.
We've got In Praise of Nothing coming out. We've got Under the Wire. We've got The Miseducation of Cameron Post that week as well, which is Chloe Moretz. Is that the gay conversion?
Gay conversion, yeah.
And last, but certainly by no means least, because there's no way we were ever going to exclude this, Dave Bautista, Ray Stevenson, and Pierce Brosnan in Final Score. It's Die Hard at West Ham. Is it at West Ham?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, God. Die Hard at West Ham. Can't wait.
Is it tagline something like 90 minutes, one man, or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So you know what would have been better? 90 minutes, one goal. That would have been... Yeah.
That would have been way better.
Oh, one man, one goal.
One man, one goal.
Oh, jeez.
I'm so excited.
We are so wasted not working in marketing.
Yeah.
You know that?
Did you see what Batista put on Instagram? He was like, when he put the poster up for this film, he was like, I don't know anything about soccer, but I know lots about kicking ass.
So we've got all that to come and more, not next week, but the week after, off screen. This has been a Candy Store production of a Movie Marker. I've been Dan Connor.
I have been Case Allen.
And we shall return.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Offscreen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
It's time to stuff our ears with film news, Mr. Allen.
It's a good job. We got loads of it.
It's a good job, isn't it? So there is stuff out there. I'm just pulling up the film news, and why have I just typed Twitter into my iPad? I in no way wanted Twitter up. And I'm an idiot. I'm a simpleton. I apologise. Yeah. So we get some film news to clear out. Did you hear Hans Zimmer's going to do Wonder Woman 84?
I did. Yeah, I was going to tell you that. Yeah,
that's cool. I mean,
yeah, he said he was done with superhero films, and then it was like, oh, actually, this is a really good DC superhero film franchise. I'm gonna get on board with it.
It was one. I was going to say earlier about it was National Treasure 3. We did get an update this week about National Treasure 3.
Is that because the Meg was out?
Because the Meg's out and
John Turturro has been
exactly. What else do you ask him about?
Yeah. Not the film he's
God no.
About, yeah.
It's not like how did you get into the psychological mindset of a megalodon? No one's asking about that.
They should be.
It's always like when are you going to see Nicolas Cage next? You know, when do you go from one massive shark to another?
How many of these big castles have you been to?
Have you seen the dinosaur skull? Have you seen it? Like, have you touched it? Have you licked it?
Yeah. Have you also shared a bag of mushrooms with him and his cat?
Oh, see, that's my ideal day. Spending a day eating a bag of mushrooms with Nicolas Cage and a cat.
Yeah,
that just sounds bonkers.
I would want to do that, but then watch Nick Cage films with him.
Oh God. I just want to point out, by the way,
of like a live commentary.
Just to point out, there is still no trailer for Primal, and it's coming up to September. Can we have this film is coming out in 2018 apparently? So we need this trailer. I need Nicolas Cage versus a jaguar in my life. Nicolas Cage versus a jaguar on a boat with Famke Janssen in my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, National Treasure 3 apparently is on hold for money reasons. Apparently, it's trying to get everyone the amount of money they are happy with. There is a script though. Apparently everyone was happy with it, but not happy with the money. So I blame Nick Cage and those castles.
Well, he was trying to scale back on the castles. I did remember him saying...
Can you imagine scaling back on your castles?
What a habit. Like, it's not like quitting smoking, is it? You can't have a patch. You can't just walk around with like a bit of brick.
I'm reminded of Bleeding Gums Murphy and his Fabergé eggs. I'll tell you when I've had enough.
Twinkle, twinkle, groovy cat. I'll tell you where you're at.
What would our lives be like without Simpsons reference? So
quieter,
Crazy Rich Asians has made like all the money in the US.
Yeah, and it's going to have a sequel.
Yeah, surprise.
But I didn't realise it was based on a trilogy of books.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so there's scope there. It's made so much money.
I know.
Yeah. I watched the trailer a while ago, and I just didn't think... It might have just been a bad trailer. I didn't think it looked very good. And that's not... I don't want that to be a comment on this film being made, because it's amazing that film has been made and with the cast that it's got. That's great, but like the film generally... You
didn't think it would be this successful, I know what you mean.
Yeah, just based on that trailer.
But we do get these, and again, I think it's because you got to remember as well. It's a woefully under-targeted marketplace.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, this really is the only game in town.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not only is it the only game in town. It's like the only game for many years in town. I mean, this is a really undercovered demographic. I mean, even on television, there's Fresh Off the Boat. And that's really it.
And that's it, yeah.
So you get there's one TV show, one movie. I mean, it's not surprising that everyone's gravitated.
I'm looking forward to Searching with
John Cho.
John Cho. Like the fact that he is in the lead for that film.
He's very good in it too.
Oh, you've seen it?
Oh, because it's out. When is it out? Is it out? Oh, it's the end of the month. Okay, we will get to review it, I think. Don't we? Or we do get to review it. I'll find out, because if we don't get to review it, if it's next week and we're not going to get to review it, I might as well tell you all about it. So,
well, just tell me if you liked it. You enjoyed it.
I liked it very much. I did. I thought it was really good.
Did you see it down in London?
No, actually, I saw it at a talker screening in Sheffield, of all places.
Where was I?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, where was you? It was on the night that I saw Mamma Mia 2 and what the hell was the Mission Impossible? I had an evening at the multiplex where I saw Searching, Mamma Mia, Here I Come Again, and Here I Go Again.
I must have been gigging that night then.
I think you were.
Yeah. I do remember this now, yeah.
Do you remember it?
Damn, I could have watched it.
I know, it would have been good, wouldn't it? But, alas.
Oh, well, I'll just have to wait. Dear.
Oh, hang on, I think I know. There is a Thursday that's got some films on. Yes, Searching screening today, so it's next week, so I can talk about it. Yeah, it's very good. The end reveal's a bit obvious, but I can't... It's like that Modern Family episode that did the same thing, where it's all on the screen, it's all on the MacBook screen. Same thing, but it's really pulse-pounding stuff. It's really good.
Look forward to it.
And John Cho is absolutely terrific in it.
Yeah, it's nice to see him having like a big lead.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's really good.
But,
Top Gun...
Oh, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
2 Top 2 Gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toppest gun.
Top Gun 2, the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should just be the title. The title.
The title.
Yeah, it's got loads of new people joined it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the list. I don't know any of them, though. There's like 6 people have joined it. I'm like, who? But
I feel like there's 2 people that you've not heard of then.
Really? Hang on. I'm going to pull up the article again and have a look. Let's see. Thomasine, Kenny Ellis, Danny Ramirez, Monica Barbara. No, don't know those people. Oh, hang on. Are you going to tell me about Miles Teller?
No.
We already knew about that, didn't
we? Glenn Powell as well.
Oh, and Glenn Powell, yes. Oh, yeah. That's it, because they opened up a new role for Glenn Powell, didn't they?
Yep. 2 bigger names are now joining.
Go on. I don't have this information. Go on, who is it?
Ed Harris.
No way.
Ed Harris.
Oh, yes.
Who you know he's going to be some kind of like general.
He's going to be the new Tom Skerritt, isn't he?
Yeah, gotta be.
And also, how good a casting is that?
Great.
Yeah.
And John Hamm.
No way. Who is John Hamm playing? Tell me he's the president.
We need a President Hamm.
Have you heard that they've cast John Lithgow to play Roger Ailes in a movie?
Perfect.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, the man did spend 6 months playing a sadomasochistic serial killer, so he's done a little bit of research.
Exactly. Get him some jowls. Get him the jowls that he wore for Winston Churchill in The Crown.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
He's always got his jowls in the drawer. Mm-hmm. The jowl drawer, or maybe a jar. Jowl jar.
Jowl jar. What is it? Just like hacky sacks that you just hang off your cheeks?
Yeah. Instant Churchill. Churchill in a jar, we call it.
Dora the Explorer has some parents now, apparently.
It does.
Yeah,
Yes.
she does. She has Ava Longoria as her mum, I believe.
I see that.
And Mickey Pence as her dad, Michael Pena, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
an intriguing one.
How old is Michael Pena?
You know, I don't know. But have you ever seen an image of the dad from Dora the Explorer?
I have not. I am about to, because I have an internet phone.
Yeah, please look him up. And I'll tell you something. I'll be damned if that doesn't look exactly like Cliff Curtis.
So you think Cliff Curtis has just lost a job?
I mean, this is the weird thing, because I know Cliff Curtis is from New Zealand, but he's played Hispanic so often that...
Yeah.
Can you see the image?
Your dad.
Dora the Explorer's dad. He just looks like...
It's Cliff Curtis.
It's Cliff Curtis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. They're making a movie about the rivalry between Cadbury's and Hershey this year. It's going to be called Chocolate Wars.
Of course it is.
Because what else would you call it, eh?
Candy battle.
Oh, don't even. Did you see this thing about the Fantastic Four?
And the Deadpool thing?
Yeah, they were going to be in Deadpool 2, apparently.
They had costumes.
Like the Miles Teller, Jamie Bell, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan version. With, like, further developed costumes. Actual Fantastic Four costumes.
Yeah.
And they just look ridiculous. And really, who needs to be reminded about the existence of...
Not Michael B. Jordan. He's doing fine.
Did you hear about Chris Hemsworth this week?
What's he done?
Have you read the GQ interview he did? He did this really good GQ interview.
What's he promoting? What's he got coming out?
I don't know.
Abs.
I think it's because Infinity War is hitting home release, isn't it? And
right.
So he's kind of like in vogue again at the moment. But he's... also, it was his birthday last week, so, you know.
Oh, yeah. I saw Taika Waititi put up a thing. Loads of people putting up, like, happy birthday things.
Do you know how I know it's when Chris Hemsworth's birthday is?
Because your partner has like a shrine to him, and
it is 8 days. Is the same. We are the same age. He is 8 days younger than me.
Really?
Chris Hemsworth and I are 8 days apart in age. I know this because it depresses me to my goddamn core.
Suck.
Can you just imagine that? Just every time I look in the mirror, the thought occurs to me.
Yeah.
You're not Jeremy Piven, but you could never be Chris Hemsworth. I mean, really. So
yeah, I'm trying to think who is. Have you got anyone born on your birthday? Do you know who's born on your birthday?
I have. I think I have.
I got some good ones.
David Duchovny and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think.
Full circle. I've got Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton?
Matthew Broderick.
Ooh, okay, that's a good one.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Not a Young Man. Nice.
Yeah.
Can we talk about I'm not going to say it. Can we talk about Christopher Plummer's latest financial embarrassment? Not the real Christopher Plummer, the other Christopher Plummer. You know, the one who only appears after bad things. That Christopher Plummer.
That one.
Yeah, so Christopher Plummer 2 starred in Billionaire Boys Club, as you may remember.
Billionaire, I Did Not Touch Those Young Boys Club.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that is a dark gag. Wow.
I'm owning it. It's fine.
Jesus. Okay, so Christopher Plummer II starred in Billionaire Boys Club with Taron Egerton and Ansel Elgort. I watched the movie recently, and it is truly abysmal.
Yeah.
It is utterly terrible. It is like Wolf of Wall Street for people with ADHD. And about half as imaginative. It is truly dreadful. Anyway, it got released in cinemas after the scandal that took down the great Christopher Plummer II. And it has now been released in theatres. It has earned, is it $618?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So
that's not done great, really.
Not done tremendously well. I mean, it is in the charts on video on demand. So, you know, there's that.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
But then again, that's a really low kind of bar anyway.
Yeah. Pretty bad. The Lady and the Tramp thing.
Yes, who are cast in this?
So, Lady is going to be Tessa Thompson, because that's great.
Okay, all ladies should be Tessa Thompson, just so.
Yeah. Tramp is going to be Justin Thorax.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fine. Ashley Jensen is going to be a Scottish Terrier.
Of course she is.
Which is good, because she's Scottish.
Absolutely with it, yep.
Kirsty Clements is going to be in it. I don't know if she's being a human or a pooch. So, yeah, I don't know. And Thomas Mann is going to be in it.
Yes,
I really like him. Yeah,
this.
I think he's a human.
He's been a bit quiet since Kong Skull Island, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's probably
was the last thing I remember seeing him.
Yeah, I believe that was the last thing I saw. I can't remember seeing him in anything else. He was good in that. He was just like a lad.
He was just some kid.
He was there. He was just like there to be like, look, a dinosaur.
Pretty much, yeah. Timmy and the Dinosaurus Land. We mentioned Hook earlier when we were talking about Christopher Robin. Hook, I don't know if you know this, Hook is being put on 4K for the first time. It's been restored for 4K.
Really? Is Steven Spielberg anything to do with this? Because
he is.
Really? Because he doesn't really care about that film.
No. He has signed off on it, apparently. They've asked Spielberg to sign off on this, so he specifically has.
That's why he's a billionaire.
Oh, yeah. Guess even better, though. It's going to include, for the very, very first time, 11 never-before-seen deleted scenes from Hook. So, yeah. I'm intrigued by.
I wonder whether... do you think they're going to be more benevolent stuff?
I wonder. I'm never sure. There is stuff in the real world scenes that I do sometimes feel has been clipped, but just trimmed very neatly.
Do you think that Phil Collins is in it more?
I feel like there's an entire subplot for Phil Collins just trying to solve the real world investigation of these abducted children and getting nowhere because he doesn't know that magic and fairies exist.
Possibly, yeah.
I feel like that's a sub-movie within Hook.
I think he's just trying to discover what Susu Studio really means.
No, he's in too deep.
Are we really doing this?
No, we're not doing this. Let's stop doing this. We are bad people for music puns.
We are. We can't hurry love.
You and I talked about this by text.
Yes.
And we should talk about it here as well. Nicolas Cage and Spider-Man. He's talked about his performance in this film. By the way, I didn't know Liev Schreiber is playing the Kingpin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great. I don't know who's playing Goblin's in it as well, but I don't know.
I think I saw it somewhere, but I'm not... No, but he is apparently based, because his Spider-Man noir character that he's voicing is from the 1930s. Oscar winner Nicolas Cage, winner of, was it 1994's Best Actor Award? 94 or 95? I
think it's 96.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll look that up. But he has decided to base his performance on Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney, and Edward G. Robinson.
That makes perfect sense.
It does.
That's right, perfect. That's not a word.
Nothing is simple.
So, perfectly cromulent word.
That is the greatest description of a Nicolas Cage voice role I can imagine.
I cannot wait for
it. Just take all my money just to hear Nicolas Cage doing a look at here, see, kind of voice, and I'm in. I'm absolutely in on that. Let's talk about Tony Erdmann. Remember him?
Yeah, isn't Tony Erdmann going to be Jack Nicholson?
Not anymore, he's not.
Oh, that sucks.
So that 3-hour German comedy, which was brilliant, by the way. I say that again. That 3-hour German comedy that was brilliant. That's being remade by Paramount for US audiences. Jack Nicholson has dropped out of it. I didn't realise as well that Lena Dunham and Jenny Coa, who makes Orange is the New Black and Weeds, I didn't realise they dropped out of writing the script as well.
So this is just Kristen Wiig just being like, hi.
Kristen Wiig's still attached. The director of The Kids Are All Right, remember that one, the Mark Ruffalo?
I loved that film.
Yeah. Lisa Cholodenko, who directed that, she has boarded the film to direct. But
I wonder if they're going to get as
the prevailing theory is that Cholodenko will step in some writing capacity as well. Although that isn't confirmed. But
get John Lithgow.
Yeah, John Lithgow make an amazing Tony Erdmann.
Yeah.
You know, of course, who the role of Tony Erdmann was clearly designed and destined for.
Alfred Molina.
Well, I was going to go with Gary Busey, but okay. No, really, if you look at the poster, you just think Gary Busey.
Gary Busey, yeah, definitely. My wife discovered that Gary Busey at one point was a legitimately incredible actor.
Yeah, he was.
She didn't know about Buddy Holly. She had no idea about it.
Oh, no, not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever seen his reality TV show?
No, I've not.
Right, okay. Before we knew that Gary Busey was insane, he was just an actor. Yeah. And I think at that point, the most recent big name thing he'd starred in was the movie Soldier, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. You know, the Kurt Russell one?
I'm aware of this one.
I love that movie. I'm such a fan of that movie. Also, how weird is it? That stars Vic Mackey from The Shield. Like, Michael Chiklis is in that movie. And also, it's one of the few movies that features both Jason Isaacs and Sean Pertwee. And when you get those two together, magic. Just go look at Event Horizon. You know I speak truth. Anyway, so Gary Busey started this TV show about 2002. It was called I'm with Busey. And it starred a sort of aspiring comedian. I think his name was Adam Carolla. And there's another Carolla who's like more popular, but I think this is Adam Carolla. He was a fan of Gary Busey all of his life. And then one day, I think it was Comedy Central, basically asked him to pitch a TV series, and he, just trying to pull something out of his ass, said, I want a series in which I follow around Gary Busey and learn life lessons from him. And they said, absolutely brilliant, can you bring it in 13 episodes? And he said, sure. They then took a camera... It would very, very quickly transpire that it was half scripted. And you could very easily tell which half was scripted. So it turned out that Gary Busey is a maniac. That basically they had given Gary Busey all of the sort of scripted questions and everything in advance, and then just allowed Gary Busey to come up with anything he wanted.
Amazing.
Right. This then goes to farcical pantomime-like levels in which the world is simply Gary Busey's playset. There is a literal episode of this show in which the dude, the young sort of comedian, Adam Carolla or whatever his name was, wants help picking up women, and they do that thing where Gary Busey's in the restaurant with a walkie-talkie and Carolla's got a little earpiece on. And some of the things Gary Busey tells this kid to say to this woman just beggar belief. And they eat oysters together, and he says, one of the things you've got to do when you eat the oyster, you got to leave some of the sauce on your chin so the other oysters know you appreciate them. Right, shit like that. Okay, and that is what Gary Busey does.
Was it just for 13 episodes? Was it just for one?
Just 13 episodes. Right, the entire final episode just centres around what they did was they tried to set up a rivalry between Andy Dick and Gary Busey, and they scripted Andy Dick, which was the big mistake, because when Gary Busey improvs against Andy Dick, it's magic. If Andy Dick could improv back, it would be even better, but it doesn't quite work. It's insane. Gary Busey defines try as being an acronym of tomorrow's really yesterday. Yeah, just honestly.
Those kind of life lessons.
Those kind of life lessons. Gary Busey is insane. The very first time he meets Gary Busey, he's on his porch, stood up on a wooden railing so he could basically fall to his death, playing with one of those wooden rain stick things.
Yeah.
Yeah. The man is just not in any way sane.
I must view this show.
I love him to death. I do dream one day of getting a tattoo of Gary Busey's smiling face on one of my ass cheeks. Yeah. But not even kidding, it's been a dream of mine for years. I have a special cartoon of Gary Busey with a cigar.
Gary Busey came up with one of my favourite tweets I've ever seen ever. It was when the Oscars were on quite a few years ago. It was when The Fighter was out. And What's Michael Douglas's dad called? Why is it just...
Kirk Douglas.
Bloody hell. Kirk Douglas was out and he was presenting an award and he looked super frail and he had like a cane and stuff. And Gary Busey put the award for best supporting of an actor goes to Kirk Douglas's cane.
I always think Gary Busey would be a really good Trump for a movie.
He'd be amazing.
He would be an amazing Donald Trump.
And he knows him as well.
Does he actually know him? Oh, man,
He's got to know him.
Oh, no, didn't they do Celebrity Apprentice?
Yeah.
Of course they did. Because Gary Busey hates meatloaf. That's a thing. That is a beef. I mean, that's a season of Feud I would absolutely watch, by the way. Gary Busey versus Meatloaf. It's not quite, Baby Jane, but...
Do you know what the next season of Feud is?
They've cancelled it, haven't they?
Have they?
The Diana Charles one.
Oh,
they've cancelled it, yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, the Diana Charles one has been scrapped.
Why? That would have been awesome.
I don't know. I think...
They'd got to the casting part of it as well.
I think... I think one of the rumours, was that it had to do with the fact The Crown is so successful now.
And that's going to get to that point.
And that's just going to do it. But, why?
Man,
it's like that Danny Boyle series, Trust that they're advertising on BBC One. I mean, we knew about that before All the Money in the World had its incidents. When it had to recast Christopher Plummer as Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, but Trust just got Donald Sutherland, and, I mean, who's going to fall out of love with Donald Sutherland? No one.
No one. Yeah. The man's a national treasure, goddammit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. By the way, I was watching a movie and there was some dude in it that I just thought, what a knob. And then I actually looked it up on the. Like, I was looking up some other actor who was in the film. Yeah. And I noticed that person who I'd said, what a knob, was Donald Sutherland's Canadian son, who we interviewed that time.
Oh, what was he called?
Oh, was his name like Ro? Oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah,
I forget. It began with an R, but it's like a French name, isn't it?
Yes.
And he was. Well, we can't make sort of accusations, but we can just say that he did not seem in an altogether present state of mind when we spoke to him.
No.
Should we just say that?
I would go with that,
yeah. Yeah, I would go with that. He didn't seem mentally present.
Yeah.
I mean, or to put it another way, I was one of the soberer people in the conversation, and it's very rare I get to say that. So, Donald Sutherland. Here he is. Did you know, apparently, Donald Sutherland is listed on IMDb as the star of The Hunger Games Catching Fire.
Really?
Yeah, imagine that.
Don't Look Now or...
None of that, no.
Ridiculous.
Right, here we are. What's his name? What was the dude's name? His son?
Reef?
No, I don't know. Come on, this is a long
He was
trivia page.
He was in Rain, wasn't he, that show?
In Rain? Oh, the thingy one. I don't know. Oh.
CW show.
He's not Mary Queen of Scots, is he? Who is Rain about? All I know is it stars the hottie from Tomorrow When the War Began. I cannot find...
Oh, that title. I forgot about that, yeah.
They made a TV series adaptation of it as well.
Did they?
Like a massive mega-budget Australian TV version. And, are you looking up I'm with Busey on the TV?
You know I am.
I cannot find a copy of this kid's name. It's escaped me. Oh, man. Oh, okay, well, he has a French Canadian. Oh my God, the episodes are on YouTube. I'm with Busey, episode 1, 2, and 3. Brilliant. Okay, there you go. Apparently, episodes 1 through 13 are all on YouTube. So check out I'm with Busey. It's hilarious. Gary Busey is insane.
This is my Thursday sorted.
On which note, should we call it for a week then?
I think we should.
On which note, here it is, your moment of Cage.
Hey, I know you. Your great-great-grandfather killed President Lincoln.
No. That would be John Wilkes Booth.
Eisenhower says that Booth was just a tool in a greater conspiracy that involved men in Lincoln's own cabinet.
Absurd. Eisenschimmel's book is filled with spotty research and false assumptions.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you explain why Lincoln's bodyguard left his post that night?
Because President Lincoln was never accompanied by guards when attending the theater. Are you listening? Especially on Good Friday.
How do you explain why all the bridges out of Washington were closed? Except one. The one Booth needed to escape.
Okay, run along now, you impossible child. Run along.